Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen, and welcome to the Queen City Yarn Dying to Knit podcast. This is episode 11, and today is Friday, February the 8th, 2019. So, this is a podcast about all things fiber related, knitting, yarn dyeing, pretty much just my adventures in making things out of yarn and fiber and color and all kinds of fun stuff like that. So I'm a knitter predominantly and a indie yarn dyer with Queen City Yarn, which I co-own with my friend Janice, who, if you watched a couple episodes ago, was on with me on the podcast. That was a lot of fun. Haven't been able to get her back. We've been crazy busy. Today we launched the Queen City Yarn, relaunched our website, queencityyarn.com, where now we're hosting our own web shop, which is so exciting. I can't say, well, I've done a little before, but Janice and her husband Brian have been working their tails off because they are very tech savvy and know how to make things like that happen. So that's like huge news today, and we're so excited. We worked really hard yesterday doing inventory and getting everything up to date. So yay that. Just like so excited to have to throw it out there right in the beginning. But anyway, I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. But it's been a while since I podcasted, probably about 3 weeks. Like I said, we've been really busy. Janice has been working on the website and the shop, and I have been in the studio dyeing some pretty yarn for the site and for upcoming events. So it's been fun and busy. I've also been knitting my tail off. So I got quite a few finished objects to show you. If you want to find out more about me and our yarn, you can check me out on Instagram. I'm Kristen C on Instagram. I also post under Queen City Yarn, which is the business. And we have a Ravelry group, which is Queen City Yarn. And we also have Facebook, Queen City Yarn, which is brand new. So check that out. And you can find me on Ravelry as Kristen, Christen. And like I said, Kristen C on Instagram. And now you can find all things Queen City Yarn on queencityyarn.com, including our shop. So we're no longer on Etsy, and now we're on our own site. So yay, that's exciting. So today I have so much to talk to you about. It's been a while. I've got a ton of stuff, like a ton of finished objects to show, which is so exciting. So I'll talk about finished objects, current works in progress, and what's next on the needles. Hopefully there's also something else new. I've got a fancy new microphone. You can't see it, and I'm afraid to pick it up because I feel like if I touch it, it's going to make a whole lot of noise. But Janice let me use the microphone that her and Ann used for the Carolina Fiber Girls podcast, which unfortunately they're not doing anymore right now. Maybe one day we can get them to bring it back, but right now they just don't have time for it. So anyway, she let me borrow the microphone. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me loud and clear talk about all things knitting. So anyway, let's start off with a faux show. Well, let me tell you what I'm wearing. This is a tee that I finished in 2015. It's called the Second Story tee, and I think it was in like an Interweave Knits magazine. I'll stand up so you can kind of see. I don't know if you can tell get the light to show. It's got this really cool diagonal pattern. It also is on the back. It was a really fun knit. I'm pretty sure it was in an Interweave. Sorry, I hit the table. In an Interweave Knits magazine. And yeah, I really like it. It's out of Woolmize DK, so it's a nice weight. It's going to be in the mid-60s here today, so I think it'll be comfortable to wear. And yeah, I always love wearing the hand knits. And blue, it's one of my favorite colors. I mean, green is my favorite color, but I really like blue. I have blue eyes, so yeah, yay that. Yay for wearing hand knits. All right, so let me show you all the finished objects. I have not one, but 2 sweaters finished. One of them I showed last time, and the second one y'all never even got to see on the needles because it was that quick of a knit. But I'm sure you've heard about it if you watch other podcasts because I feel like everybody's been knitting it. It started, I think, in the fall is when like the buzz, maybe that's when the pattern came out. Anyway, let me show you my first one, which I did show last time, which is my Marled Weekender sweater. This is the Weekender sweater by Andre Mowry, and I just totally love this marled colorway. It's called Newsprint, I think. It's a Brooklyn Tweed Shelter, and I mentioned last time, so I generally make a medium. That's generally the size tops that I wear, and I had done that in my last Weekender that I made last year about this time, but I felt it was a little bit big. I mean, it's supposed to be big, but it was a little bit too big. So this one I made the size small, and I did that after my mom made a small last year. So I tried hers on when I was on home over the holidays, and I really liked the fit. So I have been wearing the heck out of this. I just washed all my sweaters because I had to block the next one I'm going to show. So because I've been wearing them like crazy, but I absolutely love it. It looks great with jeans. It looks great with my black leggings that I wear all the time. And yeah, so this is my Marled Weekender sweater. And yeah, I cast this on Christmas Eve and finished it in January, not very long after the last time I podcasted. The next, I have 3 sweaters to show you. I'll show you. The next one was not for me. So last time I was like, I should knit my daughter a ballet wrap little cardigan. And then I was like, but it's only like a few days till her birthday. And and then I cast on another sweater for me after I finished that Weekender sweater. And then mom guilt set in, like real bad. I was sitting there knitting. A Turtle Dove is the one I'm about to show you that I finished. But I was sitting there knitting on it. I'm like, this is going so fast. I bet I'll have this done so quick. And then I was like, that little ballet wrap would not take any time at all. And I should just really knit it. And I did. And I knit it and I had it done in only a few days in time for her birthday. So this is the ballet wrap by Shannon Passmore. It's black because she has to wear black for ballet. But and you can kind of see the detail a little bit. It's super cute on her and she absolutely loves it. And so it's I modified the pattern a little bit. It was supposed to have a rolled edge, but I did an I-cord bind off around. Picked up and did an I-cord bind off instead of knitting and letting it roll. Same thing at the bottom. I did an I-cord bind off, and then I just did I-cord ties. And so this long tie wraps around her and then ties in the front. And it's so cute on her. I'm sure I posted a picture on my Instagram of it, and there's pictures on my Ravelry page, but she just absolutely loves it. The first day she wore it, she wore this, and then my mom had knit her some leg warmers. And so she was wearing this and leg warmers because we had a little cold snap. And that Thursday after her birthday, she had dance and she wore this and she was like, Mom, everybody loved my wrap. And a couple of my friends wanted one. And I told them, well, your mom has to learn how to knit. I was like, thank you. Because there was a time when if she got a compliment on something that I had made her, she would be like, oh, my mom can knit you one. And yeah, so then I'd be like, no, I'm not doing that. Because my knitting time is precious and you can tell I'm not a super selfish knitter, right? Because I knit a ton of Christmas presents and I just made her birthday sweater. So I'm not selfish, but I kind of am. I kind of only want to knit all the things for me. So anyway, yes, so she was very excited about that. I was super proud of myself and totally got rid of the mom guilt because I got it done in time for her birthday. It was even washed and blocked. Like, who am I? Got it done. What? All right, let me tell you the sweater that I had cast on that caused the mom guilt. And this is the Turtle Dove sweater by Espace Tricot. And so many podcasters have been making this sweater. It is a super comfy. I did the short rows across the back of the neck. I'm really glad I did. Anyway, that was one of the modifications you could make that the pattern says you could do. But I used Woolfolk Luft, which is so, so beautiful. It is like a cotton mesh tube almost with the softest mohair in the whole wide world blown in. And it was such a joy to work with. I learned, well, I think I had done the Russian join before. I don't think I've ever actually done it properly. But so somebody on Ravelry put in their notes that this yarn was great to use the Russian join, because I was wondering how's it going to be weaving in the ends, because it's a, it's like a chunky, maybe it's a bulky yarn, definitely heavy worsted or chunky. But they had said that this yarn was like perfectly suited for the Russian join. So I went on Google and looked up Russian join, and it was so easy, and this is the perfect yarn for it. So I had like only ends, where I bound off, where I cast on, under the sleeve where I picked those stitches back up, and then at the bottom of the sleeve. So, and I did the split hem. The front's a little longer than the back, and it's a twisted rib, but it still went really, really fast, which twisted rib usually takes me forever. And it went really fast because it was on like size 10 needles, and then the body of the sweater was knit on 10.75, which is like, I don't know, it's not a number, a US number, I think. It's just like 10.75 millimeter. Don't quote me on that, I don't know for sure. But anyway, this went so fast, and I'm so excited. I wish that I had blocked it as soon as I got it done, because last week it was super cold. Well, super cold for here, not for anywhere else in terms of what was going on in the rest of the US, where the polar vortex, where it was like crazy amounts of degrees below zero. I saw this really cool YouTube video where this guy took boiling water and went outside and threw it in the air, and it made snow. Like, I can't believe how cold it was in some places. Like out by our farm in Ohio was like -20. But yeah, so it was like 20 degrees here and got up to like 30 during the day. So that's really cold for, just south of Charlotte. But I could have totally been rocking this sweater, but it wasn't blocked, and it really needed to be blocked because of the ribbing. I needed to open it up some. But I'm excited because it's supposed to get cold again this weekend. So I'm like, ooh, I can cozy up in my new turtle dove sweater. So anyway, that's done too. And y'all didn't even see that because I cast it on and finished it, before I got around to podcasting again. So, okay, I still have more finished objects. What? I know, it's been like 3 weeks, but it seems like there's just so many things. So one thing that I've showed on the needles is my Harlow hat, which is done, but I haven't woven the ends in. But I love it. This is an Andrea Mowry pattern. It's a brioche hat, and it's two-sided. So I did the optional two-color tubular cast on, so it's truly reversible. It's so pretty. I like this side a lot. I think I probably will wear it with this side out, but both sides look really cute. I love how slouchy it is. I love a slouchy hat. It's my jam. So anyway, there's that side. And so this side you can see our pigskin party colorway, the Queen City yarn. This is the Huddle is Real, is the color I used on this side. And then this, the other side, which is also super cool. So like, see the decreases look a little different. I haven't woven the ends in yet. But this side looks cute too, especially with the strings hanging. That just like totally makes it right. So anyway, and on this side, I guess you can see both. You can see both colors on both sides. Woo, hairdo. This is the Sand Green Griffin. And I don't remember the name of the color. Let's see if I put it on my notes. Northern Purple Gold Beetle. So that is the Sand Green Griffin colorway, the purple colorway. But I totally love this hat. I just need to weave the ends in. And then maybe I can wear it this weekend because it's going to be cold. But there's more finished objects. I finally finished my bright socks. This yarn was a birthday gift from my good friend Lori, and it's the yarn jar, and the colorway was called Kinetic. And I did these in a really super long tube, and then I cut it in half and added toes, which the toes actually were the same. And then I cut in the heels, and the heels were not the same, but I didn't want to waste the yarn. It's really pretty. I could totally, I think, make my daughter a pair of shorties or use the leftovers for a barn raising quilt square. Because I really want to do a blanket, but I don't want to like knit on a blanket. I just want to have it. So it'll be quite a few years before said blanket comes into existence. But wouldn't it be pretty to have one on the back of the couch? Like the yarn hoarder does. She always displays like pretty Afghans on the back of her sofa where she's podcasting. Podcast goals. Knitted blanket on the back of the couch. Wouldn't that be pretty? Maybe it will happen. Anyway, these are done. And I'm excited. I haven't worn them yet because I finished them and I put them with things that needed to podcast. And so now I can wear them. I'll stick them in my drawer. And yes. Oh, and I don't know, last time I talked about the sock folding tutorial that my friend Janice turned me on to years ago so that all my socks fit in my sock drawer. And I did find the link for that. And so it is linked in the show notes of my last episode on Ravelry. Actually, I'm going to do show notes this time and going forward, but I'm going to put them on our website because there's like a little thing you can put them in. So look there for that. So I have more finished objects. This one is very exciting to me because this is my newest design. It's currently being test knit. It's a hat. It's called the Impress hat. And so I'm really excited about this hat. Let's see, where did I put my note? I put notes somewhere for this so I could like tell you about it. So it's meant to be a hat that you can use to kind of broaden your knitting skills by reading a simple chart. It's a 10-row chart. And so it's got these, like, it's just made with simple yarn overs and decreases, but it makes, so it's a lace chart, but it makes this like kind of cable-esque pattern. So it looks really, it looks fancier than it is like as far as how hard it is to knit. So I'm really excited about it. It's going to be called the Impress hat. Like I said, I've got test knitters knitting it now. I used Queen City Yarn Biddleville DK, and this is the Huddle is Real colorway, which thank you to everybody who enjoyed this colorway and bought it while it was available. It was our colorway for the Pigskin Party knit along for Boston Jen and the Down Cellar Studio, and holy hair. And anyway, it is currently like out of stock. We're not going to be dyeing it again until in 6 months. So the end of the summer, we'll probably bring it back. So thank you for everyone who purchased the skein. I hope you loved it as much as I did. Obviously, I love it big time because I've knit this hat and also my brioche hat. I used it. And I have most of the skein left from that brioche hat. So I'm definitely going to knit socks because I love this colorway. But this colorway doesn't, because it's a hand-painted colorway and speckled, it doesn't show the pattern as well. But my testers are using, two of my testers are using a tonal. So I think it's really going to show it off. You may remember, this hat may look a little familiar because I have actually, I worked this hat up last year, and I gave version 1 to my sister-in-law for Christmas. It was gray. But anyway, I'm really, really excited about it. This one hasn't been blocked yet. But yeah, I worked out the crown decreases, which is the most fun, but also like most like thinking heavy for me, figuring out how to make it work because I wanted it to work within the pattern. That's a design element of a hat that I really look for. If I'm going to purchase a hat pattern and knit it, the way the crown decreases go is really important to me. So anyway, that was fun. I finally figured it out and got that all ironed out this week and sent that update to the testers. And so, yay, I can't wait to see they are finished objects. I'm going to block this and I'll get some photos and hopefully have this pattern available before the end of February. I'd really love to have that done. So that will be the Impress hat. Okay, 2 more finished objects. These are exciting. They're very, very small, but I'm excited because I'm actually doing it. And these are Christmas ornaments. I showed this on Instagram, and I have been waiting to podcast to send it to my friend Melissa. She saw the one that I made for Janice at the holidays at Christmas time, and she was just like, I really love Harry Potter. Like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. When we were out to dinner, and so I was like, okay, I'm making her one. This is happening. And so I did a little M on it with duplicate stitch for Melissa. So I'm going to send this to her probably today. And so I finished this and I was like, yay, I got my January ornament done. And I was like, oh, let me just cast on a hat. And then 5 minutes later, not really, but just about, the hat was done. It's got a little snowflake on it. I should have drawn a little smiley face on my finger and then we could have done a puppet show. Wouldn't that have been fun? Maybe with my kids. Maybe y'all aren't too interested, but it would amuse me. Anyway, it's like a super small little hat, which I'm totally in love with, and the little snowflake. So, yeah, I got 2 ornaments done in January. I'm really excited to cast. I didn't cast anything else on after that hat because I was like, okay, I could just sit here for a week and just make a bunch of ornaments, which would be great. I'd have a bunch of ornaments, but I want to do it each month. So I've got some more yarns out to cast on with. So one of my girlfriends watched the Marie Kondo thing on Netflix and went through her stash, and she pulled out some things that she's not using. She knit socks out of this Gales Art sock blank. This was in the bag of stuff she gave to me, which some of that stuff will be podcast prizes. So we'll refer to her as the Fairy Yarn Mother. I don't know, something fun like that. But so I'm going to use this to cast on something next, I think. It's going to be maybe a little stocking or something like that. And I also, this is Eau Clark by Desert Vista Dye Works. And I have a little sock made out of this, but I was thinking maybe I would knit one as a gift. So I'm thinking little socks now is what I want to do. Some little socks. This is, oh crap, what's the Yarn Jar, who's the same dyer behind the Bright Socks. And this is a colorway I knit socks with last year. And I don't remember the dyer behind this, but this is a pretty Christmas colorway. I'm sure I could find it on my Ravelry page. And then I put in here too, where'd it go? Oh, a little blob of the Lollipop Christmas Waltz sock yarn. So that's in there. So I'm going to do that next. That's going to be the thing that's happening next for the Christmas ornament. So February. And so like I said, my goal for this 2019 ornament knit along for myself is to make at least 1 ornament a month. I was super excited to knit 2 and that I got 2 done in January. So still keeping to the 1 a month goal, but if I knit more than that, I'll be impressed with myself. So I hope you guys are joining along. I did start a thread in the Ravelry group regarding that knit along, and I also made a bundle, and I'm of patterns, of ornament patterns that I had in my queue or that friends had told me about, and I'm pretty sure I made the bundle so that other people can add to it. Janice said she was going to show me how to do that. Maybe I figured it out. Maybe I did not. If you try and add your favorite ornament pattern to it and it doesn't work, let me know. And I'll ask Janice how to fix it. And if you can, then yay me. Are you so impressed? You totally should be. Okay. So that's all the finished objects. Whoa, right? That's a lot of finished objects. Wow. So let's talk about what's on the needles. And I feel like it's not very much because I feel like I've finished so much stuff. And I have really lately wanted to cast on everything. Like every single thing I see, I'm like, ooh, I want to cast that on. Ooh, I want to cast that on. I'm trying to clear off some needles because I was a little jealous that some of my friends had done that. But I want to cast on without abandon. Like, just, is that how you say that? I don't know. I just want to cast on all the things. I just want to be inspired and pick yarn and cast on. And if I do that, I probably won't finish anything. But then, after some time, right, then we have a faux show like we did today. And it's like, look at all this stuff I finished. So I'd say it all works out. Let's talk about what's on the needles, though. Okay. So I showed this last time. This is in my new sparkly Woodsy and Wild bag, which I really like. I got for Christmas. And this, in this bag, mid-row, under the heel, under the foot, this is my, maybe if I start now, Christmas socks. So last time, let's just talk about them for a minute while I finish this little round, and then I can tell you more about them. So this is Stranded Dye Works BFL nylon base. The colorway is called Naughty List, and I will show you, possibly show you the tag if I was on top of my stuff and put it in the bag. I'm using ChiaoGoo needles, 32-inch circular needles for Magic Loop, which is my preferred sock knitting needle in the size 1, which is 2.25 millimeters. And so with these socks, I was initially going to make like tall socks, like normal height, mid-calf socks, like I usually do. But when I was knitting on them, I was wearing a pair of shorty socks that my mom gave me, I think for my birthday or for Christmas maybe, I don't know. She knit them for me. And I was just thinking like, gosh, I love these socks. I love the height of them. They like are really great with like little booties and stuff like that. But I don't have very many of them because I always just default knit tall socks. Put it this way so you can see better. So what I did, obviously I knit a taller cuff, which is like 1.5 inches probably cuff, and then about 2 inches of leg. And that's when I decided, oh, I'm going to make these short. So then I just started doing a heel. So I did the heel flap, and I did the double gusset heel. Maybe it'll show up really good because it's lighter yarn. Yeah. So you see these little V's? That's the double gusset under the foot. So instead of decreasing here, like you normally would, like a regular heel flap and gusset does, down the side of the foot until you use up all those extra stitches you pick up. On the double gusset, you do it under the foot. So on either side of you finish your heel turn, and you put in markers here, and then you do decreases, and then if you still have extra stitches, you move your markers out. It's so confusing to show things. I just need to look at what I'm doing instead of trying to look at it on the camera to see. So you just do decreases, and you decrease down those extra stitches, but they decrease down under the foot instead of down the side. So I think it's more comfortable because it's under the foot. And it also, like you can see how it kind of scoops up and cups up under your heel. You can see those decrease lines there and there. So yeah, I'm working down the foot. This is the first sock, and I'm loving it. And I think I've finally got myself into the groove of when I do a heel flap. I don't know if you can see this because it's little stitches, but when you do the heel flap, if you do the first 2 or 3 stitches in garter stitch, then it makes it so, that pickup so nice. Highly recommend it. Another tip from the sock doctor, my friend Christy, who is Turtle Girl 76 on Ravelry. And she's the one that designed the double gusset and graciously offers it for free on Ravelry. So you should totally try it on your next top-down sock with a heel flap. Okay, so those are my maybe if I start now socks, because maybe if I started on New Year's Day, which I did, they'll be done by December 1st. So I can wear them. 'Tis the plan. So that I don't miss out on having my new Christmas socks to wear on Christmas or the whole month of December for Christmas. Oh, I was going to show you the tag. Let me tell you, it's been busy and I feel a little off, but I don't know if that's really an excuse because I kind of always am. This is Stranded Dye Works, BFL nylon in the 80/20 and the Naughty List colorway. And this is yarn that Janice brought me back. I'll show the yarn because it's really pretty. She brought me this back from Disney, from the retreat she went to down there because they had it there. And she has some too. I still don't think she's cast on her socks though. But she's being like the sweetest wife ever and knitting her husband like a boring brown sweater in pieces. It'll turn out gorgeous, but it's kind of boring knitting. He's a good one though. So I'm sure she feels justified in doing it. Mike, my husband, asked me, he found this sweater pattern, or this sweater, like a ready-to-wear sweater, in one of the magazines that comes, like the, men's clothing magazines that come to our house sometimes. And he's found this super fine gauge cashmere sweater. It was like almost like a Henley style, like a little placket with buttons. And he was like, "Could you knit this for me?" I was like, "Yeah, I could." "Would you? In black? Cashmere?" It's like, well, cashmere is a draw. But like, I think to knit a sweater, and he wanted it to be like that sweater, so like it'd be lace weight. I'd be knitting that thing on probably size 1 needles, maybe even, it was a very fine gauge sweater. And I was like, "No, honey, if you want that sweater, you should buy that sweater." And just enjoy the other things that I make for you. Because I've knit him other sweaters. I mean, we used to live up north, like up in Philly. So the sweaters that I knit him, he got a lot more wear out of up there. And he's like, "Oh, it's just too hot to wear them down here." And I'm like, "But you're wearing a hoodie right now." So I kind of feel like you could be wearing one of the sweaters I knit you. So no, I'm not going to knit the like lace weight sweater, even if it was cashmere. Yeah, you should just buy that sweater. So anyway, how did I get on that? I don't know. Let me have another sip of coffee. It's gonna be one of those podcasts today, I think. I don't know. It probably always is with my podcast, just like meh, whatever. At least there's lots of pretty yarn and lots of knitting, right? Because that's what you're here for. Scatterbrained is just, I don't know. You just kind of deal with it, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully me putting my coffee cup down beside the microphone, the new fancy microphone, isn't like, bam, putting a coffee cup down right beside your ear. If so, oh my gosh, tell me, and then I'll try and not do that. Okay. Let me show you some more knitting instead of just about not knitting. Okay, these socks, I put them in this Christmas bag because I thought I was going to finish them as a Christmas gift. But I didn't. And I could have, but I didn't. So this is Queen City Yarn Birds of a Color. But as you can see, so sometimes we throw like a mini skein in with a dye lot. And I think this one was like under the yarn in the pan. So it didn't get as much color. And this one was on top. And it got all the color. Anyway, I cast these on in 2015. And I was going to knit one sock and have it be a sample for some show, some event that we did. And I didn't get it done. And so then it just got pushed to the back of there's like cabinets under our TV downstairs and there's projects in there. And they get pushed to the back and pushed to the back if they're not like the thing I'm working on. So when I was trying to find all the, trying to finish up all the Christmas things, I had this sock just about done and I had the toe of this sock cast on. And so I considered actually finishing them and gifting them to my sister-in-law, Kristen. But then I was about halfway down this leg on the second sock and I was like, wow, those are really different. And while I don't think she would care, I just didn't want to do that. I kind of wanted them for me, actually. So I put them away, and I just have been carrying them around in my purse since we got back from the holidays. And so I finished the tube, finished the tube, and I did these little gray cuffs, but I didn't have very much of that left. Like just this like little tiny nub, and I don't think that's enough for 2 heels. So I pulled out another mini skein, and this is our slate colorway. And I'm going to do slate heels. And I've marked where I'm going to do them, so they will be kind of shorty socks, kind of like those, because the cuff is only going to be that tall. So it'll be similar. So I'm kind of fulfilling my shorty sock goals. They're not super short, but they'll be great for wearing with like little booties. So yeah, so those are the sock bodies are done, and I just have to cut in the heels. So I think maybe this afternoon I will get the stitches picked up, at least on one of the socks for the heels. And I'm using my ChiaoGoo 32-inch 2.25 millimeter needles. And they're in this cute snowman bag. And it's been super warm here this week. It's been like in the 70s during the day, which is crazy because of how cold it is, or was last week. And then it's like in the 70s, and now it's supposed to get cold again this weekend. But yay, because that means I can wear my sweaters. Okay. The next thing on the needles. Okay, so my friend Danny went to Amsterdam. Her husband went for work, and she went. And she went to Stephen and Penelope. And look at this project bag she got me. She got me some yarn too, which I'll show you one of the skeins because I already have it wound up. She bought me 2 skeins of yarn too. But isn't it pretty? It's so cool. It's like a canvas bag, and it's by this, I think they only sell it in their shop. I don't know. Oh wow, Amsterdam Handmade. But it's got their little tag. But isn't it so cool how it's like splattered with the color? Oh my gosh. I love it so bad. Like so much. So of course I had to cast on something to use it. So what I cast on is called Inseparable by Tammy Gore. It's a bulky weight cowl. So Queen City is going to be doing like a pop-up shop at Do You Knit in April. And Tammy, the designer, Tammy Gore, the designer of this cowl, is up in New Jersey. So anyway, we've gotten in touch, and hopefully we're going to get to actually meet her in person while we're there. So anyway, I cast on this pretty shawl. I don't know if it was tired knitting or what, but I'm going to have to pull it out and restart it. But literally, this was only a couple of days of knitting. Because look, like I messed up and didn't do an increase. This is the wrong side. Messed up and didn't do an increase where I was supposed to, and then did it on the other end, and it's just wonky. And I want this to be really just done the right way. But it has little bobbles. Oh, can you see the bobble? There's a little bobble. Anyway, it's going to be really a pretty cowl when it's, or not cowl, shawl when it's finished, especially when it's done correctly. But anyway, it's on super big needles. It's on like 13s. Is that what these are? Yeah, 13s. So yeah, it's super fast. So I'm going to pull it out and restart it. But I'm using Queen City yarn, our Plaza Midwood Bulky in the Holiday Cocktails colorway. So I'm almost done with the first. And I have the second skein. I actually was just starting to alternate. And then I held it out to admire my work, and I was like, oh, looks like I messed this up. And I thought, it won't show. And I think if I was using like a fingering weight yarn, adding a stitch in the wrong spot wouldn't really show up. But because it's bulky weight yarn, I think it shows up more. And I just don't think I'll be happy with it unless I fix it. So I need to pull that out and redo it. But next time, hopefully I'll be showing it to you, and it'll be maybe even finished. Because it's bulky and it's super fast. And okay, I have 2 other projects to show. Both are new cast-ons. So this is a Bink waffle bag. I really like it. It's great for walking around and knitting. You can like put it on your hand, and it's this kind that's got like this little grommet. Is it called grommet? I think it's called a grommet. I don't know. That's what I'm calling it. And then this like bigger strap so you stick it through. And let's go a stitch marker through it. Pink waffle. So anyway, this is the bag I've been using out walking around with the kids. And the yarn that I'm using is Kirby Werby. She's dying again. And I follow her on Instagram, so I've been buying her yarn because she's awesome. So this is Kirby Werby, and this is her Soft and Squishy in the colorway RBF Reboot, which I missed out on this colorway when she was dying before, but I'm super excited about it because I got some, and it's really pretty and bright. And so I cast on shorty socks for me because I don't have enough shorty socks. This year may be brought to you by shorty socks for me and Christmas ornaments. So I didn't even do a full repeat of the color. I did 2 stripes for the cuff, for the ribbed cuff, and then I did 3 stripes for the top of the leg, and then I started a heel, but I didn't want to use the self-striping. I don't like to use, I don't always, well, sometimes I do, but I usually like to use a coordinating color for the heels of my self-striping socks, especially if I do a drop heel. So I did the heel flap and gusset, and I used black, and this is just a Knit Picks Essential Black, which I really like the look of, but let me tell you what, I had to like hold my phone. I finished the heel flap and heel turn last night, and even though I did the garter stitch, which I know you can't see because it's black, last night, and I was picking up the stitches last night to start the gusset, and I had to hold my phone to like be able to see where to stick my needles in. So anyway, I just started the first gusset. So you can see on either side of my heel turn, I put stitch markers in. And so I'm decreasing away these stitches here in the middle under the heel. And then I'll move that out and decrease away the extras. So yeah, these are back into a like walking around outside where the kids play knitting place because I can do my gusset decreases. While doing that, I usually, if I do a drop heel, I usually will I can work the heel outside, but heel turn and all that, and pick up is usually an inside thing in the evening after I get the kids to bed. So those are socks on the needles for me. New socks on the needles for me because I didn't have any self-striping socks on the needles. There are other socks on the needles, but I didn't have any self-striping ones on the needles, so I felt justified in casting them on. And this is kind of a springy bag, even though it's still winter. You know, I need a little bit of brightness in my life. So there's that. Okay, there's one more cast on, and it's a sweater. And my friend Danny, who went to Amsterdam and went to Stephen and Penelope and sat and got to knit with Stephen West at a knit night there, was working, the last time we hung out before she left, she was working on the amazing Technicolor Dream sweater by Stephen West, which I'd seen pictures of it, and I printed out the picture for the pattern. I'd seen pictures of it. It's so pretty, right? But I wasn't drawn to it until I saw her, didn't decide I wanted to knit it until I saw her project. And she was using all blues and purples and grays. And I was like, wow, that's really pretty. I think that's the case with a lot of his patterns. He uses such beautiful, bright colors, which speak to me sometimes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to knit that. And sometimes I'm like, well, that's a little too much for me. And I think as knitters, and I think just it's hard to imagine something in a different colorway. And so seeing hers, when she was knitting it, I was like, what is that? That's so pretty. And it's like this boxy style. Here it kind of shows. It's like this boxy style, you start a sleeve and it's got this cool neck and then brioche down at the bottom. Like it's totally my style sweater. And I think I'm going to wear the heck out of my version of it. So I cast it on. This is the ultimate pull from stash thing. So this is the start, and then I'll show all the yarns I'm using for it. Because I literally like stood in front of my stash cabinet and I was like, you and you and you and you. It was so much fun. And then it was all laying out and I was like, no, not you. No, not you. Because you get to pull like 8 different skeins of fingering weight to make this yarn. So the cuff is something I have had in my stash probably for 10 years. Initially, I bought it to make, oh my gosh, what was that little shrug jacket? Sunrise Circle Shrug sweater. I don't know what it is. My mom made one in orange and it was so cute. And I bought the yarn, I think from Webb's, got a discount, and then never made it. And it's been in my stash because it's not, so I decided I wasn't going to make that, right? But I didn't buy enough yardage to make something else. So anyway, I'm using part of it for this. And so I'm doing this really long cuff, and it's got a big thumb opening. So this part will be here, oh, imagine it. It's so pretty, right? And then I started marling. So you do the cuff in a worsted weight, and then you use 2 yarns together for the body of the sweater and the sleeves. And boy, isn't this pretty? This seed stitch. So pretty, right? It's not supposed to be seed stitch. It's supposed to be moss stitch. I admired my work after about here when I finished the increases and was like, oh, wow, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. I love the way it's working out. Let me look at the pattern. So I looked at the pattern and I was like, oh, that's supposed to be moss stitch. So I'm like, I already got most of that knit. So I think that Stephen West would approve. And he's all about changing things up, switching up textures and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. So my sleeves are going to be seed stitch. It's on a little short needle, but oh my gosh, isn't it pretty? Right? I think I need to close this up a little bit. I think my thumb hole's a little too big, but I can do that easily. But oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And so anyway, I'm holding 2 yarns together. I'm doing seed stitch for the sleeves, and then the body of the sweater will be moss stitch. So the yarns I'm using now, hold up, look, I even like put a rubber band around my tags so I can actually keep them and know what they are. So this tweed, oh well, here, this one's got a band on it, is Joe Sharp Silk Road Aran tweed, which I think is really pretty, and I'm loving the way the tweed works with the marling. So that's the cuff, and it will also be used in the shoulders and the neck, and then as the front pop out of the brioche, and then I'll hold some the colors of yarn that I've used in the sweater for the behind of the brioche. So that's the first one. The 2 that I am using now are this and this. Okay, so this color I've had in my stash for so long. I've been hoarding it because it needed to be like the perfect project, right? And I just I haven't found one that I've been willing to part with it for. But when I was picking yarns for this, picked out a whole bunch of yarns, and then I was like, no, this one's too special. No, this one's too special. And then I was thinking, too special for what? Too special to use in a sweater that I'm going to love because I feel like it needs to shine on its own. And so I made myself get over that. And I didn't put it back in the stash and make it stay and wait for the perfect project. Like, I want to use it. I've wanted to use it so many times, and I haven't allowed myself because it's the only skein I have. Anyway, so I'm using all of the yarns in this sweater are like that. Yarns, most of them are yarns that I've been waiting for the perfect project. And finally I was just like, you know what? All together, this is perfect. This is the perfect project for it. So this yarn is the Lemonade Shop, and the colorway is Toxic Oreo. And it is just crazy, speckled, beautiful goodness. So that's the first. This is one that I'm holding now. And this other one is a very messy ball of Hedgehog in the colorway Oracle, which is one of my favorite Hedgehog colorways. So my plan is to hold a gray with something, but it has to have pops of color. So this is how these two are working up together. It's so, so, so pretty. I'm loving it. I'm enjoying this so much. All right, so my sleeves, I decided I'm just gonna hold two together and do the sleeves that way. Now let me show you the other yarns that I pulled. So one that I pulled was Queen City Yarn Sneak. I really love this one. I think this one's gonna be great in there. And I don't have a tag for it because it's a skein I took from Queen City. Okay, let me just pull the yarns out and I'll tell you. This one is also also Peepaloo Fields. And this one is called Of Courage. Superwash sock of Courage. And it's just really beautiful, light gray with magenta and like a rusty orange, some blue. It's very pretty speckled. Okay, so this will be a light one. And then this colorway, there's so many, it's hard to tell, right? I think I'm gonna hold these two together. So this colorway is Neighborhood Fiber Company, and next, I don't know, right? Is it a typo? Or is that, I don't know how to say that. But this skein of yarn is absolutely gorgeous. I actually bought this during my first visit to the Neighborhood Fiber Company studio in Baltimore. My brother and his wife live in Baltimore, and I went to go pick Chad up to go and visit my parents. I think that was I think I just drove up there to pick him up and from my parents' house. And I was like, there's this yarn shop I really want to go to. So he's like, yeah, let's go. So then he drove us to the yarn shop. And I just think this is beautiful colorway. So it's dark. So I think I'm going to hold these two together for marling. Marling purposes. I have a whole bag of yarn. I pulled 8 hand-painted skeins for this. Okay, so the next two. Okay, so my friend Danny is going to be like, what? This is a color that she just brought me back from Amsterdam. And when I showed her what I was thinking about using, she was like, no, don't use it. It's too pretty. But it's perfect. It is perfect, so I have to. It's Fru Valberg, and this is the Penelope colorway. And Penelope. Anyway, it's so crazy beautiful. This is a skein of yarn that she brought me back from Stephen and Penelope in Amsterdam. And I couldn't love it more. Considered not using it for this because it was too special. Considered making socks with it because I think that's what she's going to do. And then we could be twinsies. But it just worked. It just worked with this, with all these yarns that I pulled out. It just looked perfect. And the other yarns that I had pulled as possibilities didn't look as perfect. So it's happening. And I think I'm going to hold it together with this Crazy Bright Beautifulness, which is La Bien-Aimée, which I think this is the only skein of her yarn that I have. It's absolutely beautiful. This is one that Janice got me at the Disney retreat the previous year, where La Bien-Aimée was. She wasn't there, but her yarn was. And this color is called Amy's Sweater. It's crazy beautiful. Gray with these beautiful bright pops of color. So that's my plan, is like a darker gray, more muted colors with something lighter and brighter. Which I love gray, so I've got a lot of options in my stash. Okay, so that's those two. There's 2 more, y'all. And these are really crazy pretty. So this skein, my ball winder did not like. I tried to wind this skein. How many times? 3 or 4 times? Yeah. So it's partially wound inside, and then it was being a pain in the butt. And so I was just like, all right, fine. I'm just going to wrap it around there, and it's going to be a ball inside a ball. So that's what's happening with this one. This colorway is called Hey Girl, and it's another Peepaloo Fields colorway. I really like it. It's very pretty. And then this one is another hedgehog colorway. And it's called, I don't know where the tag went. It's called Orbital. It may have been one of the club colors, or it may be one that I bought somewhere. I don't know. But it's very pretty. It's grays, purples, and like this chartreuse, neon green, and yellow, and speckles. You know, aren't those pretty together too? I don't know. I'm gonna be switching up the colors a lot more when I'm working the body of the sweater. I'll drop one and like maybe drop the dark one and knit with a different dark one for a while before I switch up the light one. So everything's gonna be all together and pretty. So I'm really, really excited about this sweater. I'm excited about knitting it. Danny finished hers, and I tried it on. She's smaller than I am, so it was too tight in the sleeves and all. The body of it fit fine because it's a boxy style sweater, but it was too tight in the sleeves. But I'm really, really excited. Really, really excited about this sweater. I think it's going to be so pretty. It's going to be a fun sweater to wear. It's got all these, beautiful yarns that I love and have been waiting for the perfect project, and I think this is it. So, yay. I'm so excited. So, did I mention I was excited? Because I'm just a little bit, so very excited. So, that's my last project on the needles. And so it's lots of fun. All right. Wow, it's almost been an hour. Let me speed it up here because I've just been chit-chatting away, and I know I have stuff to do. You probably got stuff to do. I need to make another cup of coffee. I know that. All right. So the only thing left to talk about is I've got what I'm going to cast on next. Sorry, I've got a hair tickling me. Yeah. Anyway, I want to show you what I'm going to cast on next. I want to talk about a really cool kit that we're doing with Queen City that's dropping soon, and just a little bit about the website, fun stuff like that. Okay, so first I'll show you what I'm casting on next. I alluded to this last time. Maybe I showed it. I don't remember, but it is the Tide Chart by Amy Miller. I'm using Biddle DK on US 5s because I know that I get gauge for this sweater, the called for gauge on those needles because of the Humula sweater that I knit. So my mom just knit this sweater out of Calories Don't Count on Your Birthday, and it turned out gorgeous. And so I was like, I need to knit it. And then Janice dyed this October colorway, and I was like, oh, that's the color I need to knit it in. It's so pretty. It's like a beautiful gray with all these neutral and gray speckles, and I'm super in love. And so a dye lot is staying with me, and I'm gonna knit myself a sweater. So that's happening soon when I decide to wind yarn again, because that day of winding, when I wound up yarn for the amazing Technicolor Dream sweater, I was so over winding yarn by the time I was done. It was like 8 skeins of yarn I wound for that. I wound the yarn for Kirby Warby socks, and I wound something else. What was it? I don't know. Something else I wound, and I was like so tired of winding yarn. I was like, oh, knitter problems. This is terrible. Anyway. Okay. So, 2 things to talk about now. We've moved from Etsy. Queen City Yarn, we're hosting our own shop on our website. Janice and her husband have been working crazy hours since the new year, the beginning of the new year, to try and make this happen, this transition happen. I'm so thankful for them for being able to do that, being able to wrap their mind around how to do that. There's a lot of things that I know how to do that I'm really, really good at doing, and making websites and things like that is not one of those strong suits that I have. So thankfully they know how to do that, and it, if I can say so myself, it is gorgeous. The new website, they put so much work into it. Janice has been redoing photos to make it exactly the vision that we've had, and it's amazing what she's doing. So anyway, check out queencityyarn.com. And if you love it as much as I do, I don't know, let Janice know. Poke her on Instagram or somewhere and just tell her she did a good job, because I've been telling her and I think she needs to know. So anyway, queencityyarn.com is live. It went live this morning. Sorry, I might sneeze. Okay, I'm back. I thought I might sneeze, and I was right. I did. So I'm back. Anyway, so the website, yes, is gorgeous. We have the shop on there. There is, all the colors are up there. There's links to the events that we're going to be at. So if you want to come and meet me or Janice in person, she goes to a lot more events than I do, but I'm at some of them. And so, yeah, find out where we're going to be. Come say hi. Check out what we have to offer as far as yarn and colors and fun things like that. If you want to see Queen City Yarn in your local yarn shop, there's a wholesale page that lists all of our colors, and shops are able to apply for wholesale spots and actually place their orders there, which is really cool. And yeah, there's links to the podcast on there, and I'm going to start putting all my show notes there on the podcast page. So all the show notes and links to the things I talk about can be found there. Going forward, I'm still going to post on Ravelry to let everyone know that I've uploaded a new podcast and talk about knit-alongs and do giveaways and stuff like that way. But the show notes will be on queencityyarn.com. And okay, so we've got something fun and new that's on the website, and I just have to show you guys. So when we go to events, we love to release a new colorway. It's really fun designing new colorways, and sometimes we feel like, oh, we've got so many, we need to slow our roll a little bit, but it's just really, really fun. And we get inspired by all kinds of different things to design a new colorway. And we love doing collaborations with other makers and our friends that make things. And so we've got a new collaboration with one of my favorite bag makers, Jenny of Kitchen Counter Crafter. And Janice has designed a pattern to go with this kit. So it's like a whole big pile of awesomeness. Do you need a narwhal? Do you? This is the Need a Narwhal kit. So when Janice told me, I was like, oh my gosh, that's a perfect name. So anyway, there's this gorgeous bag, and this is a drawstring bag by our friend Jenny of Kitchen. There we go. Kitchen Counter Crafter. So it's this really fun narwhal bag with snowflakes. Let me tell you what this kit is for, actually. So this kit is going to be released at the Virginia Beach Yarn Getaway, which is the weekend of February 23rd in Virginia Beach. And Janice is going to the event, and Jenny will be there also. So they're going to be having this kit there. Right now we have pre-orders for retreat goers on the site now. And was that some pretty yarn? Yeah. Up on the site now. And then after the retreat, we'll be having some in our shop. So, right. Look at this yarn. Oh, I messed up this game. These are the new colors. So, this one's DK. This one's on our Noda sock. This colorway is called On Point. It coordinates beautifully, all these colors do, with the bag. So this one's called On Point. I hope that was not too loud. I just banged my hand on the table. This one's called On Point, and this one is called Unicorns of the Sea. And there's another one. Okay, so these are DK, and this one is Noda. So Janice designed this cowl pattern, which is so, so pretty. Look at it. Narwhals and snowflakes. So this one is the adult version. It's so pretty. We actually, just the photos of the cow for our promo photos, and I think the pattern photos as well. I mean, she's going to do up close ones too. But she did with my daughter, Caitlin. Caitlin was so excited to be a model for the pattern. So there's a kid's size and then an adult size. So Janice and Caitlin did a photo shoot. And Caitlin was so excited to be a model. So this is the Need a Narwhal cowl. Like, do you need a narwhal? Yes, you do. Need a. The pattern will be NEDA, narwhal. And Janice has designed the pattern. The pattern will include instructions for both the kid size and the adult size. And we will have the yarn available on Noda sock. So this would be great for a shawl. I mean, you could do a fingering weight version of a cowl, of this cowl. You just add a bunch of stitches, I guess. Obviously, figure out your gauge and all of that jazz. But this is the fingering weight version of the yarn, or dyed on fingering weight. And then this is the DK weight. Now, you can knit the adult size with one skein of each colorway, or you can knit the adult and the kid size with 2 skeins of the main color, which is Unicorns of the Sea, and 1 skein of On Point. So, yay. I love kits. Like, absolutely love kits. All this fun goodness. Yay. It's going to be on the website. It's on the website now. The website went live this morning. Did I mention I was excited about the website? I kind of am. Like a whole lot. So this awesome kit is available on the site. Currently, it is available for pre-order for Virginia Beach Yarn Getaway Retreat goers, and it will be delivered at the retreat. And we are saving some back for after the retreat. So, a few things. The pattern goes live on February 19th. So it'll be live on Ravelry. If you want the pattern, you can purchase it and download it then on February 19th. There's a couple skeins, very, very few skeins, on the website if you really need that yarn now. They're on there because I didn't take them. I was like, I will let other people have a chance. So let's just take that in for a minute. Because usually I'm like, mine. I need this one right now. So there's a couple skeins on the shop if you really need it. But the kit releases at the retreat on the 23rd. And so when Janice comes back on the 25th, we will put up ready to ship a few kits that we are holding back the entire kit. Because like me, not everyone gets to go to the retreats. And like me, maybe you want what they have there, even though you can't make it, you know? So we're holding some of that stuff back so that you don't have to miss out on the kit. So we have some that we're holding back, and they will release on the website on February 25th. And so we have a certain number that we are like not taking. And then we'll have, if there's any extras, that number will grow. And on the 25th, you can buy the whole kit on queencityyarn.com. And that is everything I believe I have to say about the kit, except for, do you need a narwhal? The name just gets me. It's the little things that just really tickle me, you know? Anyway, so I think that's everything. Sorry this was a super long podcast. Hopefully the transition from me, like, cutting out my sneeze and coming back and chatting with you wasn't too bad. Hopefully this episode has the intro thing that I've made in there, because last time, I set it to upload and then went about my merry way of momming for the rest of the day, and then was like, oh, look, it uploaded, and then looked at it and I was like, well, what happened to the intro? That didn't upload. So hopefully that will upload this time too. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a professional podcaster person, so I try. I try to continue to get better. So anyway, I hope until next time you enjoy your knitting. I hope you knit some Christmas ornaments and show them to me and join into the knit along because I'm having fun with it and I would really love to see what other people are working on. Somebody posted, oh man, I can't remember her name, posted in the Ravelry group this beautiful Christmas, it's like almost like a sock for a Christmas ball ornament. Sock as in like covering of this ball ornament. So pretty, which I know that I have some ornaments that I had purchased like for the kids, like to do their handprint on them. And so I may be covering some of those with yarn and using that pattern that she linked because it was really, really pretty. Turned out great, and I think it'd be a beautiful on the tree. And as gifts too. So anyway, yeah, if you're knitting Christmas ornaments, like show them to me. Inspire me to knit some like you're doing. And hopefully you'll like the ones I've made. And we will continue to go on this year-long journey of Christmas ornament knitting together. Because it's fun and it's way more fun to do with friends. So until next time, happy knitting. And yeah, I'll talk to you next time.